Hey guys, this is Going to Your Plus back down on More to Your Day, and today we're ranking total drama seasons. Now, ranking all 9 while I'm a little sick probably wouldn't be a good idea for my voice. So instead, we're going to do the first half today, and then later down the month, we'll do the second half of the seasons. So today we're doing rank 9 through 5, and 9 through 6, and we'll finish it 5 through 1 next time. So we got 4 entries to go through. And, so let's just get into it. At number 9, I've got Pacateo Island. So this is weird, because first, back when I first started watching total drama, the consensus was that Pacateo Island was the worst season. And obviously, it was the most recent, and it was bad, which is an easy way to be called the worst total drama season. But more recently, the consensus has changed to All Stars being the worst season. And I can definitely see why that's the case. All Stars ruins some of the best characters in the series, making Heather make one of her worst decisions ever, Duncan, Courtney. But we'll get into that later. I personally dislike Pacateo Island more. First reason is the cast. If your cast is bad, I like your season significantly less. And you'll see that throughout these rankings. Pacateo Island is my least favorite cast. There were too many throwaway characters that you knew from episode 1 weren't going to win. Which, if you know by episode 2 what characters are not going to win in the season, it gets really boring really quickly. Like, by the time Beardo and Leonard got out, you already knew the twins most likely weren't going to win. Topher was a really weird character. He was too out of the blue to win. Rodney wasn't going to win. Scarlett and Max were doubtful winners as well. And even Ella, who has a slightly higher chance to win, was also felt like a throwaway character, just intruding on Ella and Dave's relationship. I think that's a big problem. If you have this many characters that feel like they had no chance to win from the first episode because you know how total drama works, it makes it really, you don't get engrossed into the show. And I know some people like the weirdness of this season. And I kind of like the more normal seasons, which is why I prefer the reboot seasons and Island, because they're kind of just chill, living on an island and stuff like that. While this one is on a robotic island that can self-destruct for some reason with a bunch of mechanical animals and stuff. Radioactive stuff isn't really good later, but we'll talk about that. But I think the island was a missed opportunity. If they want to make it like Total Drama Robo Island or something, that'd be very cool. Instead, they hid it and then revealed it, and then by the end, the only time they really utilized it in benefit of the show was when Dave and Jasmine, at the literal end of the episode, were able to change a bunch of things, which that was good. If I have to give them some props, it was the final 4. Jasmine is a really great character, so is Sean. Sky is pretty, and Sugar's actually decent. I think she's kind of overhated as a quote-unquote antagonist. I don't really think they meant her to be that big. She ended up fitting into the antagonist role later, but early on she was just a big girl that hates Ella. And now she was her character until later, when she actually got antagonistic, and honestly, she was a pretty entertaining antagonist. Probably a top 3 character in this entire season. I think they missed a lot of opportunities, and even though there wasn't many opportunities anyway because of how boring the cast is, I just can't really give the season its props. Also, I cannot remember one chef line outside of episode 1. Just a lot of bad things, and the only good things I'll say is Jasmine and Sean, and the last episode, the last challenge. Oh yeah, and the challenge for Sean, Sky, and Sugar all get to choose a challenge to complete. That was good, episode 2, and the zombie episode. All the other episodes, though, I have no feelings towards them at all. Well, mostly negative if I do. But let's move on. Number 8, we got Total Drama All Stars. It wasn't getting past the bottom 2. Now, the main reason I like this one more than Pacateo is because of the characters. Now, while a lot of the characters were ruined, they weren't generally bad like a lot of the Pacateo Island cast was. And you could really, when you first get into the season, there's barely any characters you say, oh, I don't think this person's going to win. We can rule them out. Except for the people who were finalists, so Duncan, Cameron, Heather, Lightning. Besides that, I'm pretty sure everybody had a good chance to win this season. And that made it a lot more interesting because you know that one of these amazing popular characters are going to win the season. Now, one of the big problems with All Stars is the character selection, since people thought that Brick should have gotten it. I personally think that's a closer race. Like Sam was actually liked before he got into All Stars. People liked him, but then he was in All Stars, had a bad performance, no one really cares about him anymore. I think the main issue was Sierra being in the season. I know he wanted to include both of the new World Tour characters, but Sierra was so bad this season, it kind of ruined her. Cause sure, she was weird in World Tour, but at least she went out her way to help Cody. But she seemed like more of a hindrance to Cameron, which made him want to leave the show. Then he got so injured he couldn't continue because he ended up getting swapped. The Villains versus Heroes was a fun idea. It's just like the Robo Island that had Pack the Tail. I don't think it was executed as badly as people think. I think the Villains team was actually great. I think most of the time the villains were on the screen outside of Gwen and Duncan. It was actually kind of enjoyable. Heroes team, I agree. Nothing going on. There was no interesting plot points besides Mal, and he was interesting in not a great way. But Joe had her early boo after being really good in the first season. All she wanted to do, she didn't play smart. She just argued. She felt like a lot dumber. Lightning was already dumb. He got dumber. Lindsay got way dumber, but apparently she wanted to leave. But she could have made it more obvious that she really wanted to go until just at the end where she's like, "Oh yeah, I get to leave," but it was random. Now we'll talk about the character derailments. Now, I don't hate Courtney because she betrayed Gwen. I feel like that's something Courtney would do. But having a list wide out in the open so it could easily be stolen and exploited is not something Courtney would do. And they just said, oh yeah, she likes lists now. And well, she didn't like writing stuff earlier. I feel like if she wanted to keep this secret, she would do a better job of, keeping it secret than basically handing it to Mal and saying, expose me, please. I don't hate that she betrayed her friends, I guess, but I hate how easily it was to expose her for it. Gwen just stopped liking Duncan this season. I can understand why, but she already lost interest in him before he started getting obsessed with Courtney, so that was also pretty random. I like a relationship with Cameron, though. Duncan was terrible this season, probably the worst derailment, ever in Total Drama history. Duncan was absolutely terrible in this season, especially in the second half before he got eliminated. Alejandro and Scott, though, I think they were improved. Alejandro's voice actor, I like it way more than the first one. And Alejandro was really good in this season until the Mal episode, where Mal just kicked his butt the entire episode, and then Alejandro gets booted off. Every other episode, though, I saw Alejandro as an actual likable character that you could root to win this season. And Scott, when he's not in an antagonist role, and he's more of an idiot, like he's supposed to be, with his relationship with Courtney, he's actually a great character. But other than that, bad drama a lot of the time. Boring Final Two. Honestly, one of my least favorite Final Twos, Mike and Zoe. I guess it makes sense storyline-wise, but Mal was already terrible the entire season. Now Mike has a chance to win the million, basically because Mal carried him the entire season. And Zoe was alright, but she was probably better in her first season. Let's move on to a season I actually really like. Revenge of the Island. Now, this one is a little bit lower than what people usually have it as. But as I said, casts are a big reason for my rankings. And I do not like the Revenge of the Island cast that much. For me personally, Sam, Stacy, Dakota, Dawn, and B are all characters that I wouldn't have been surprised if we never saw them again. Because they were very basic stereotypes that you don't really care for much. But, then you've got more fleshed out characters like Lightning, Zoe, Mike, and Maria, Cameron, and Joe and Scott, which are actually good characters. But when almost half the cast is characters I don't really care of, not only because they're obviously not going to win, but also kind of bland personalities outside of maybe Dawn, it's just not really fun, honestly, with those characters. So, and the season is actually not that bad itself. The challenges are decent, especially the one where Dakota got eliminated. Final Two is one of my favorite Final Twos ever. Cameron, Lightning, Brain versus Braun. Lightning got a lot of development near the end of the season where he just turned into an actual kind of smart competitor, especially when he chose to eliminate Zoe so he could get Cameron an easier finale out of Cameron. That was one of the smartest plays in Lightning's entire game. So, yeah, congrats to him for that one. Zoe and Mike were good this season. Honestly, kind of bland relationship besides the personalities and the Anne Maria controversy. But I think what's really holding the season back is any kind of excitement throughout the episodes. None of these characters really drive home a great plot. Like, as soon as Anne Maria leaves with Brick, that veto situation is over. You got Scott manipulating Mike, which it worked. Like, that was a good plan, but it was kind of executed weirdly. Like, Mike was just willing to go along. Even though he knows he could kick his butt with his personalities if he really needed to. I mean, Vio could beat Scott. Maria could not Maria. Svetlana could definitely out-acrobat Scott, but he just kind of let it go because he was so scared of Zoe finding out. Like, Zoe wasn't eventually going to find out they had multiple personalities. Cameron was actually really good this season and almost had no flaws, though. This season gets a nice, a B-. It's just that all the seasons are so good. I had to bump this one back a little bit because it's not as exciting. And really, there's no memorable Chris moments like in all the other seasons. The final season of this episode is Reboot Season 2. Now, this is the newest one. So you know this is a recency bias when I have it low. Reboot Season 2 is an interesting season because it took one of the best seasons in all of Total Drama, brought back the amazing cast, had episode 1 through 6, a couple episodes after the merge were some of the best work Total Drama's ever done. Besides Priya. And then, after that, it was okay. It was Revenge of the Islands level of good. Maybe worse. I would say, All-Stars level. The first half. The first half was, World Tour levels of great. The second half was more All-Stars level. So, I still rather watching the Pack of Teo, but it wasn't very exciting. I feel like a lot of characters got robbed. Michelle came out to look like an idiot. Damien ended up looking like an idiot after he let Miyao get stolen. Didn't check before the voting round, make sure it was still there. He didn't check the entire day after he hid it there. And Julia finds it off camera, steals it, and then uses it in a couple episodes later. Dumb. Absolutely foolish. But, Ripper and Axel were pretty much ruined. Scary will go out first, but I don't care about her as much as other people do. Millie actually improved this season, weirdly, because she really felt... both seasons she felt bad for the things she did. I think they did a pretty good job making Millie a flawed character. Emma felt like she got robbed because Priya basically ruined her entire chances of winning and got her off for it. Z was a little bit weird. He wasn't as funny as the first season. He was still good, though. MK was greatly improved. Now, after Season 1, I did not understand the MK hype. After Season 2, I can understand it. MK was way funnier this season. I don't know why. First season, she was really corny to me. Second season, she still had her fair share of corny jokes. She had way more hits, especially along with Julia and her having this weird love-hate relationship where they would basically bully each other, be rude, and try to manipulate each other, but in the end, they were still friends. That was a great part of the season. Julia and MK are the best characters in this season, probably. But there's one underrated character I want to mention, and that's Caleb. People don't really care for him. I enjoyed him. I really enjoyed him. I think he was a good example of someone that you expected to be a new Alejandro, where he uses looks to manipulate. And he kind of did that with Priya, but he wasn't trying to, it seems like. It seems like he really just wanted an alliance to make it far. And he didn't even notice that he didn't use Priya liking him to his advantage, because he didn't know that Priya liked him. And he ended up liking Priya, and then he got an alliance with Julia off camera again. Too much stuff happening with Julia off camera. That's a problem. But overall, I liked Caleb. I think he definitely deserved Final 3 this season. And at the time where he eliminated both Priya and Julia into that thing at the same time, which ended up getting Priya eliminated, was also pretty funny. Main problem with the season, though, is Priya herself. She was completely derailed in one season. From being a great, kind of better Sky, definitely, with better relationships, to just being this weird Julia-obsessed creep who liked Caleb, hated Caleb, liked Caleb, but also hated Julia more than she liked Caleb by the end. It was really weird. Priya was really bad this season. Not because she was actually that bad of a character. She was fine as a character, but she got so much screen time of being a below-average character that completely drained anybody of being interested in this season. And finally, thing I want to talk about is Final 3. It was fine. Julia definitely deserves to make it. Despite having crazy plot armor, She played the game really well again. Wayne was surprising, the most surprising winner ever. Probably in total drama. Besides Beth, that you count her as the winner over Duncan. Didn't expect to make it. I thought if it was one of the Hockey Bros, it was going to be Raj. But nope, he got out, and then Wayne ended up somehow making it far, winning the season. I told you I wanted a funny winner for these more lighthearted seasons, where there's less lava and stuff, less death and more comedy. So they wanted a goofy winner to go along with that, and they did pretty well with it. I think Wayne was a decent B- around winner. Caleb is a pretty unpopular finalist, though. Well, I think he should have made it. I think if Priya didn't ruin him so much that people actually think he's a bad character because him and Priya sucked up all the screen time, he would actually be a little bit more deserving of a Final 3. I know you're saying, why would he deserve a Final 3 more if he was on the screen less? Because people hated him when he was on the screen, because when he was on the screen, Priya was on the screen being annoying. Priya should have been out around early merge, and then Caleb actually gets to flesh out his character, maybe actually make a secret alliance with Julia, and that would have been way better for him. But I still think the season's good. Like, I think everything past number 8 is a good season. It just falls short of, well, really the good drama. Too much off-camera stuff, and that's just what's going to happen when it's only a 13-episode season. And also some character derailments, which are pretty crazy. But we'll finish the first half in due time. I mean, the second half in due time. Hope you guys enjoyed. I think this video's actually been pretty long. But see you guys later. And you know what I'm going to say next. Adios.